Good afternoon. It's New Year's Day, January the 1st, 2026. And a Happy New Year. I'm going to go over by the Legislative Building. I thought about walking all the way around the lake, but I don't know that I want to do that today. But I will go over by the lake and then maybe come back through Lakeview. As you can see, we've got some hoarfrost. There's a little bit of light snow. It's minus 16 degrees, so that's, in Fahrenheit terms, about 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, wait, one thing I need to do here. Put my little clips on my heels. What are the features of these? I meant to do it before I came out. I don't know if I can do it now. It's got too much ice in there. Come on. Where are you? Oh, I don't think I can do it now. I've already started walking on it. All right, we'll live without it. Shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to walk over by the Legislative Building and then do a little bit of Lakeview, the neighborhood. Got my hood up, although it's not staying snapped, which is annoying, to say the least. Sorry if there's noise on the microphone there. All right, well, I guess I won't snap it either. It's not going to stay. Hopefully it decides to straighten out here. What I was doing there made it kind of go a little off kilter. Just one thing after another here. Okay, got that snapped up again. This will take care of itself, I think, as I keep walking. Anyway, there we go. Hopefully it eventually becomes less leaning to the right, like it is right now. I don't think anything special is happening around the lake New Year's Day. There's always it's called the New Year's Levee at Government House, where you can go and say hello to the Lieutenant Governor and her husband. We've gone maybe once or twice, but not recently. We were at a very nice dinner last night at a restaurant called Homestead, which has a very good wine bar as well. So it was a tasting menu with really good food, really good wine. And we thought we'd only be a couple of hours, but in fact we were there till more like 11:30, and it started at 7:30, so it was a well spaced out evening. Fortunately, I can't go. Oh, good grief, there's all sorts of people out walking. I hate that. I prefer to be alone. Still would like to get the metal clips on my heels here. Let's try again. I just have to find the little... I just can't seem to get hold of it. Ah, there it is. Okay, there's one. Now let's see if I can get the other one. I wasn't reaching far enough forward, seems to be the problem. There it is. Okay, now I'll be happier. That extra bit of grip is important in these conditions. So we did that, then we came home. I had to first foot the house because there's a heritage, Scottish heritage on my wife's side of the family. Their grandfather, whose house this was original, well, not originally, but they bought it in 1939 from the original owners, was Scottish. And of course, there's a Scottish tradition on New Year's Day of first footing the house, where you want somebody who's handsome, dark-haired man is supposed to come in and be the first person to enter the house in the new year. So I do that every year, which meant standing out on the front step just before midnight, and as soon as it turned midnight, coming inside and being the first one in. So good luck for the year. My family's tradition is to eat black-eyed peas on New Year's Day. They're hard to find here, but we did find some this year. So we're going over to a friend's house tonight, and we'll be having black-eyed peas for good luck. Very important. Although, like I said, most years we've missed it, so maybe we'll get better luck this year for having been able to do it. They're much more common in the South than they are here to find. Happy New Year! Lots of people out walking, it looks like, not just me. All right, we'll get across Albert Street here. My plan is to do a loop down around the Legislative Building and then come back through Lakeview, which is the neighborhood on this side. I'll wait for the light because there's too much traffic not to. Albert Street Bridge. It's the Saskatchewan flag flying at the moment. That flag's varied depending on what special things are being commemorated. There we go. All right, we'll go down this way. Maybe sometime this next week I'll walk around the lake. It's supposed to be a little warmer. And my ankle does seem to be doing really well, so I think I could do it. This is not a proper path. It just skirts this fencing to my right, which is around that stupid sinkhole that opened up and has never been fixed. Happy New Year. Got to keep an eye on the footing here. This is why I wanted to get that little metal cleat folded down on my heel on these boots. Give that little bit of extra grip going down hills like that. There's the lake. Another Happy New Year to you too. We're going to go this way and go around the ledge, as we call it, the Legislative Building. Lots of people out walking around on New Year's Day here. Dogs, of course. You always see dogs being walked. Looking out over the lake there. Thoroughly frozen by now, and will be till April, likely. Up here is the dam that creates the lake, just under the bridge over here. Not that any water is being stopped by the dam right now. It's probably frozen solid over here. But there's the dam, and there's a bit of a spillway. And in the summer, you'll often see birds down there, pelicans and such. I wonder if they've got the warming hut over there, so I presume sometime soon they'll open up an outdoor rink right over there. They clear the snow and put boards up around a patch of ice and keep it flooded. At least they've done it the last few years, so I assume it's happening again this year. I seem to remember wondering last year if it was going to happen because it wasn't up by Christmas, and then it showed up after that. So there's usually a kind of a winter festival thing in February they like to have it up for. And like I said, the warming, changing huts over there, whatever it is, trailer of some sort that's been installed, is there. So I presume they're going to do that a bit later on. I've got my hood up. I might take it down. It's starting to get warm. I've got my toucan under my hood, so lots of layers there at the moment. A little bit of fog, which is why we have this little bit of hoarfrost. I make sure to charge my microphone so that it hopefully doesn't go dead like it did 2 days ago for a few minutes. Fortunately, somebody let me know they couldn't hear me, so I hope if you're watching this right now, you can hear me. You should be able to. We're going to go over here in what is, in warmer times, the ornamental garden in front of the Legislative Building. And we'll walk up right to the and around the ledge. Not much of a garden there right now. Minimalist. It's a minimalist garden. And up here will be Queen Elizabeth on her Saskatchewan bred horse, which the Queen unveiled. Oh, I guess I can cross here and we'll get a better look. Queen unveiled when she was here in 2005. And we were, as I often say, I was standing up here with my daughter, who was only not quite 4 at the time. And she was able to give the Queen flowers, so that was very nice. And there you can see. Okay, I'm going to take off my hood. Okay, that's better. You can see Queen statue there, and a better look from more directly in front of the Legislative Building. And if I get too cold, I'll pull the hood back up again, but won't try to snap it again, I think. Should be fine if I make sure my ears are covered. There's the Queen. I know there's a new Queen, Queen Camilla, but Queen Elizabeth will always be the Queen. Okay, I'm putting my hood back up. But I won't try to snap it. Good look at the ledge. Oof. Couldn't see that curb with the snow. I can tell I'm going to be walking into the wind when I start heading back, so another reason not to be on the lake where you get a lot more wind. Chill feels fairly sharp now that I'm feeling it in my face. So I may end up snapping up that hood again. Oh, kind of got off the sidewalk there. Ice on this bit. Yeah, I don't think they clear a path to the lake shore up here where the fountain is. Otherwise, I'd go through there. we'll see. I can't quite tell yet. Not enough contrast to see what the path is looking like. So, has there been enough people through here to have beaten down a path? Maybe not too bad. I'll do my bit to beat down a path here. So, in summary times, this is a fountain which came from from London, not Lincoln, from London. I think it actually stood in Trafalgar Square, something like that at one point. There's a path there, but it's actually a bike path, I think. Those wind through the park. And if you're on one and a bike comes by, they get upset. Not the bike, but the rider thereof. But I did want to come up here and walk along the lake for a little bit. So we'll cross over. It's actually a pedestrian crossing right here. Once I finish wading through the snow, okay, so some more of the lake. Let's see. Spruce Island and Pine Island is over there, and Willow Island is back behind me and to my left at this point. All man-made islands, because the whole lake is man-made. That looks like snow, but I think it's actually hoarfrost falling out of the trees. So it's essentially snow, but it didn't fall very far. Sit on the bench and look out over the lake, but probably not the most comfortable thing to do right now. I'm going to go up to the next intersection. Oh, maybe I could go this way just to be different. I'll go this way. So that was a bit of the lake. Now I'll make my way over to Lakeview. Lakeshore Tennis Club is over there. I sometimes walk by those courts. And they're a very long time. Established 1915, so 110 years old, that's tennis club. That's older than me. By 50 years, makes me feel young. Definitely Ooh. And there's ice here. Fortunately, I have these good boots. which really are making a difference on how secure I feel in this kind of condition. And we'll still go a little bit further south. Then we'll cross over and take a walk through a bit of Lakeview on the way back to the house. This may end up being just about as long as if I'd walked around the lake, but the difference is I knew coming this way I had various opportunities to, or I could go that way. As I said, I have various opportunities to make this a little shorter. Yeah, I think I'll go this way. Make it a little shorter than I was thinking. Probably more interesting to come up behind the back of the ledge here anyway. So now we're coming up on the backside of the ledge. If you're an MLA, you might have parking back here. Well, I don't actually think it's for MLAs because there's not enough of it. Probably just for people who actually work in the building all the time. Speaking of bikes, I think I will have to snap up my hood again if I can, as I turn towards the wind again. So, one moment while I do that. Okay. Sorry for any extraneous noise on the mic there. So here's the back of the ledge. And there's another fountain at the end of this road in summertime. Not today. Nice bit of hoarfrost on those bushes. Now the question is, do I go north a little bit more, or do I just continue to wind my way back? Foot's fine. Let's go over to this bit of road. Although I don't think there's a good place to cross the road there. So I'd either have to go up to the next light, or I go this way. Well, I'll go this way. Keep it a little shorter. Besides, this will take us by the Provincial War Memorial. Up there, on the left. As we go past the west wing of the ledge, however, not of the White House, although it is kind of a White House, although it's not a house. It's kind of white, but not as white as the snow. Tyndallstone, so it's clad in limestone. And in fact, it's full of fossils, and I don't mean the MLAs. If you look at the stone, you'll see lots of ancient sea creatures and plants fossilized in it. This is the Provincial War Memorial. First, Second Korean, Afghanistan, I think, is in there as well. Now I will cross Albert Street over here to my left. And then I can do just a little bit of Lakeview on my way home. So again, there's the War Memorial. It's quite snowed in. I don't think it'd be easy to get to at the moment. And the neighborhood on the other side of this is called Lakeview, even though only about 2 houses have an actual view of the lake. Looks like I might catch it really well for crossing over here too. So. Perfect. All right, we will walk down 23rd here a little bit into Lakeview. I think this is the house, this is a house where a notorious murder took place. There's even a TV movie about it. I think it was that one, but I won't say for sure. Actually, it was in the garage. If that's the one I'm thinking it is. My nose is running. I don't want to go all the way down to the footbridge, so I'm going to just do a little bit here and then go back up. I don't think I'll go as far as the footbridge. So we'll just a little bit of Lakeview, which is pretty this time of year. Well, any time of year. I should just come over and do a walk in Lakeview. Always like that house. I like the red, just the look of it in the red shutters, especially in the snow. See, I'm just 1 block north of Regina Avenue. Could go down to the footbridge. Decisions. That one's under serious renovation. Watch out for the plug-in. You're not supposed to put them across the sidewalk, but people do. At least I don't think you're supposed to. Seems like you shouldn't be supposed to, because the tripping hazard. Oof. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should go down the footbridge. Otherwise, I'm turning right and going across the Albert Street Bridge. Let's do a little Wilf Perot alley here. Except in his alleys that he paints. Wilf Perot's a very well-known local artist, and sort of his theme for years has been back alleys. But they're from a different era. You don't have these ugly bins that we have now. They still have the old aluminum trash cans. In the paintings, but not in real life. I'll be over in this neighborhood at Lakeview United Church, which is over that way a ways, on Sunday to audition for a Regina Lyric musical theater production called Rock is Dead, which is basically people singing songs by dead rock stars, of which there are a lot. I'm going to audition with the Gordon Lightfoot song, If You Could Read My Mind. Love that one. It's a single performance, February 28th. Won't be a heavy rehearsal schedule because it's mostly solos. No choreography, so. It's a fundraiser. I don't remember what for. It's a fundraiser for some worthy cause. Not just lyric, some other worthy cause. Better go down into the park here, the rest of the walk. There's Rotary Park down here. There's another dog and walker having fun in the snow. Now, is that a path worth walking on, or should I go further down the alley? I'll go further down the alley here. I think that's actually the bicycle path, or the cross-country path. Up here is sort of the real connection between the alley and the bike path. Not the winter bike path I was just talking about, but the actual bike and pedestrian path, the Devonian pathway, which goes through a great a great distance through the city. Many, many kilometers. And which I've walked on many a time. So we get a little bit of it's still Lakeview. As you can see, none of these houses can see the lake. These particular ones can see the creek. I don't know why it's not called Creek View. This will take us to our old friend, the footbridge. Clearly, having walked this far, I would have been fine walking around the lake. I'm starting to feel my left foot a little bit more. Still not 100%, but I'd say it's 95%. Maybe even some days 96%. Maybe that's as good as it's going to get. I don't know. If you're just joining me, I broke my ankle in August. And so that takes a long time for everything to get used to being walked on again. Mostly quit swelling though, so I think that's a good thing. Sometimes it seems to a little bit, but not much. All right, I'm going to undo my hood again, getting warm. And once I'm walking on the other side, heading back toward the house, I'll have the wind behind me again. It's a little bit in my face right now, but not bad. It's not much wind. Okay, there's the footbridge coming into view. This is Regina Avenue again, to my left. I think I'll go across and probably walk down the dike on the other side for a little bit to the first set of stairs. All right. Ooh, that wind is nasty once you're facing right into it. Didn't seem like much when I was sheltered, but when you get exposed, it's fairly cutting. Not as bad as it could be, because it's only minus 16. If it was minus 30, it'd be way worse. Across the footbridge, over the footbridge and through the trees. To our old house we go. Okay, traditional looking west. And looking east. If you went back and took screen captures of every time I've done that, you'd have an interesting time-lapse sequence, I think. Yeah, we'll walk on the dike on this side for a bit. 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? I went that way. But today, this is taking me homeward bound. I wish I was homeward bound. Actually, I am homeward bound. If I could click my heels right now, I'd do it and be home. As I am starting to get to the end of what I think is a comfortable amount of walking at, are we at 45 minutes? Basically. Pretty close to an hour by the time I get home. So at least 10 more minutes. There's where we just were. Now we're on this side. I hear children playing, but I didn't see anybody. Don't know if they're on the path or in a backyard somewhere. All right, I will What will I do? Do I keep along the creek a little further and then come down on another one, or do I go down here? It's so pretty. I think I'll stay up here and walk down to the furthest stairs, where I don't walk to very often. That'll take me down onto Angus Boulevard and then back through the alley to our crescent. Because it's pretty. And I hope you're enjoying looking at it without having to actually walk in it. That's my job. There's that house I watched being built last summer. Well, until I couldn't walk anymore. They finished it at some point. It's, I'm sure it's very nice. I don't think much of the outside look of it. But it has a nice deck with a view of the creek. And it is on an odd-shaped bit of land. I think that probably has something to do with it. So there's Rotary Park over there, where we just were. Now, normally when I come up from the house, I would come up here, but I'm going to go down all the way down to the furthest stairs down, almost back to the Albert Street Bridge. So I don't walk along nearly as often. This next section. You can see the bridge in the distance. Oh, it looks like somebody has done the clear the snow and make an impromptu skating rink down here at this end. I don't think the city really likes that, if I remember right. Probably because of, what if somebody falls through, but this ice is very thoroughly frozen at this point. Sometimes there's been one down by the Elphinstone Bridge, but I was just on it. And there's not one down at that end, but there's one down here. Happy New Year, Keith. Now you can see the bridge more clearly, and you'll see a guy skating down here on the creek as we go by. Down there. The willows look particularly nice when they get hoarfrost on them. Not a very big rink, and doesn't get flooded, I would think, so it probably, as people skate on it, it gets quite chewed up. But still. It's like the one in Charlie Brown Christmas, but not as big. That seems to be the whole lake or river. All right, now we'll go down here. And then just straight up Angus Boulevard here back to our crescent and home. Say goodbye to the creek. And hello to what? This area is actually, well, it's sometimes called the Crescents. I think the whole neighborhood is called Cathedral. There's the cathedrals. Up along 13th, not far from here. There's a very broad bit of road here, too. Best thing is, with the new phone, the battery is not being killed by the cold the way that the old phone was dying. First time I decided to go back out and walk was on Halloween, which I like to do. That was my re-debut of walking in Regina. And the battery died in no time flat. It wasn't that cold, it was above freezing. But in November, I got a new phone. Now it's an iPhone 17, and of course it has a brand new battery in it, and so for the time being at least, it's hanging in there very well despite the chilliness. Well, since I came down this side, maybe I'll go walk down the other side to get to the alley this time. Or I could even, I suppose, walk along more of Leopold. If you watched my Christmas light walk, you know this house has lots and lots of Christmas lights on it. Although Santa at the moment looks a little worn out. But why wouldn't he be? Not quite an hour, but we're not quite home either, so it's going to be very close to an hour, which is good. That'll be the first time I've done I used to always try to do an hour when I first started doing this. And it's gotten shorter, mostly because of convenience reasons. I tend to walk somewhere I'm going anyway, and that's not always very far. Or I don't want to put in the time for a whole hour because I've got things to do. Which is why I do a lot of walks downtown, because I'm going down there anyway. Kill two birds with one stone. But this walk was just a walk for you, my faithful followers, of which theoretically there are some 1,400 subscribers to the channel. Not that I've ever done a video where all 1,400 are watching. Oh, I have done videos that got more than that views. Usually the fireworks videos get lots. And a few years ago, when I was in St. John's, walking in St. John's, Newfoundland, that seemed to attract a lot of viewers. And if I ever walk around the university, I tend to get a lot of viewers, I think from international students who are planning to come to school here and want to see what it's like. We're going to go down Leopold here, because I don't walk along this section of this crescent very often, since I usually go through the alley. Although I did walk along here when I was doing the Christmas lights. Yes, and this channel is monetized, which is why if you're watching the recording, you may see ads. And some months, I make enough for 2 to 3 cups of coffee. Or a pint of beer and a glass of beer, maybe. Maybe 2 pints of beer in a really, really good month. But that's the $17 or $18 I wouldn't have otherwise, so there you go. Bailey, Feline, you're welcome, and you have a wonderful new year too. This walk, this walk is almost over. This walk is almost done, and I'm almost done too. Actually, I'm doing very well for having my first really long walk since the ankle break. So I'm very pleased. Of course, our neighborhood has these lovely elm trees that have survived Dutch elm so far. And they give that lovely overarching look. Pretty with hoarfrost and pretty in the spring and summer too. I always like to point out this house, which was the setting of a TV movie called Family Blessings, I think. That starred Linda Carter. They shot in that house and in our neighborhood. So they made it look like an American neighborhood, like with U.S. Post boxes and flags and things. I wasn't living here. I was living over in Garnet Street, so that puts it back before 1993. So it's a very old movie now. I've always meant to look it up. I'm sure I can get it somewhere. Not so much to see the movie. I don't know what it's about. A Hallmark kind of thing, probably. But just to see what our neighborhood looked like. more than 30 years ago now. Oh no, wait, I was here till 97, so it could only be 30 years. I don't know exactly when it was filmed. Right, I lived on Garnet Street till I got married, which was 97. Yes, I do know when my anniversary is. Okay, we'll stop up here at this stop sign, which I've often done. And that will conclude my New Year's Day walk around the ledge. A bit of the lake, a bit of Lakeview, and a whole lot of snow. Yeah, it's a great house. Old house. Well, everything around here is pushing 100 or more than 100 at this point. All right. Thank you for walking with me. See you sometime soon. Bye for now.